Well, hello. Glad that you could join me. Sorry, I didn't see you come in. Just getting lost in a story. I do enjoy myself a good story. This book here has some of my favorites. The Lore of Paragon. Now, since you're here, I'd like to share a story with you from this book, if you don't mind. Let's see if we can find a good one, shall we? Here's a good one. The story is entitled, What Was Lost? Now this story is about a fellow named Matthew Habashy. He's an agent for the Federal Bureau of Superpowered Affairs. He's a survivor of the Galaxy City disaster that was devastated by a Shivan meteor attack. Now Matthew was tasked with handling the growing threat to Atlas Park because Longbow and the Paragon Police Department were stretched way too thin dealing with Galaxy City's crisis. So, let's see how the tale of Matthew Habashy unfolds, shall we? Matthew was clearly getting overwhelmed with the situation in Atlas Park, and said, "Man, as if we didn't have enough problems with Galaxy City, the Hellions are terrorizing a neighborhood nearby. The majority of the Paragon Police Department are too busy trying to contain the situation in Galaxy, and we've got a ton of refugees in that area trying to take shelter. We need your help in taking back that neighborhood, Arethius." Arethius responded, "Just tell me where to go and I'll help those people." Matthew says, "They're in, one of the..." See, Matthew was distracted for a moment. He shook his head, gathering himself. "Sorry, they're in a neighborhood to the west of Atlas Plaza. You've got to thin out their numbers. Then what remains of the PPD can take control of the situation. Be careful, Arethius. The Hellions aren't your run-of-the-mill gangsters. These guys are demon worshippers." Arethius headed to a hotspot of Hellion activity in Atlas Park and started fighting the gangsters. After defeating a few of them, one of them finally gave in and gave him a little bit of information. One of the Hellions threatened Arethius after taking him down. "You all can't stop what's coming. We know what we're going to get. We've been told what's going to happen next. Galaxy was just the first step. Atlas won't be far behind. You'll see." Arethius headed back to Matthew to fill him in on what had happened with the Hellions. "Thanks, Arethius. The PPD are on the scene now and handling the situation," Matthew said. "The Hellions said something about Atlas Park being next to fall? Seriously? Can't we catch a break? If it's not meteors destroying the city, it's a group of demon-worshipping punk cultists saying the end is nigh. Looks like we're not out of the woods yet." Matthew continued on. "It sounds like the Hellions are either planning something big or they know something big is about to happen. I'll admit, I'm kind of new to this whole business of taking down criminals like this. I was just a guy working behind a desk before the Galaxy incident. I think I have an idea of what we can do next, however." Arethius asked, "What are you thinking?" Matthew filled him in on his thought process. "Officer Nelson is taking charge of the PPD's cleanup of that neighborhood. He'll know more about anything going on with the Hellions. I'd go talk to him. Oh, yeah, here's my cell phone number. You can call me at any time. This way of communication is much more efficient." Arethius followed Matthew's advice and spoke with Officer Nelson. "Arethius, right? I heard you're responsible for helping us take back this area. We all appreciate it. You and Matt are already doing a lot of good for this city. Could set an example for those lazier heroes. It's a shame that his wife Dana died in Galaxy. But anyway, we could use more of your help here, if you're willing to give it." Arethius was caught off guard. "Wait, Matthew's wife died in Galaxy? He didn't tell you?" "Doesn't surprise me. He's a very focused guy," Nelson said. "I don't know the details. All I know is that he said she didn't make it. If you want to know more, I'd ask him." Arethius agreed. "Will do. What can you tell me about the Hellions?" Nelson said, "The Hellions are over in Prometheus Park right now. We've got reports they've kidnapped several people and are trying to take others in the park. Someone has to stop them. But we just don't have the manpower to keep this neighborhood safe and go after them. It'll be up to you to make that happen, Arethius." Arethius decided it was good. "I'm on it. Leave it to me." Arethius took the fight to the Hellions and rescued a few of the civilians nearby in Prometheus Park. One of them had some information that was useful to him. "You have to do something. The Hellions have made a home for themselves in these caverns. They said something about using it as a place to store some artifacts until they were told to move on them. Please, I don't want what happened to Galaxy to happen to Atlas." The Hellion base was adorned with fire, exactly what you would expect from a gang of demon worshippers. In the cavern, Arethius came across an artifact. It exuded dark magic. It seemed the Hellions were using it to perform some sort of dark magic in the caves beneath Prometheus Park. There was a small label on the side of the artifact reading, "Property of Magi." Arethius called Matthew to let him know what he had found in the caverns. "Matthew here. Oh, Arethius, good to hear from you. What's going on with the Hellion situation?" Arethius let him know that he found an artifact they had and it looked like it belonged to Magi. Matthew responded, "Great. I mean that to be sarcastic, by the way. The Magi Vault in Galaxy City was destroyed during the incident. There's probably hundreds of dangerous artifacts floating around Paragon now. At least we've got one of them. We're getting reports, however, of more missing people. Probably the Hellions' work." Arethius responded, "Cursed artifacts, crazy cultists, missing people. Never a good sign." Matthew agreed. "You're right on that one, Arethius. We need to find out where the Hellions are keeping all those people. Did you find out anything else?" Arethius decided to ask Matthew about what happened to his wife. "My wife? Nelson told you, I'm guessing. We were in Galaxy, Dana and I, when the incident happened. We were trying to get out when a bunch of those monsters separated us. I distracted them to give her the chance to run. We were split, but I thought she would make it to the evac point. When I arrived, she wasn't there. I tried to wait for her, but Longbow and Vanguard reported there were no survivors and then took us all away. When I got out of Galaxy, the FBSA put me straight to work on helping Atlas. All I can do now is try to push forward and fix things here. There will be time for mourning later. Right?" Arethius agreed. "Suppose so. So what's next?" "Well, I think I have an idea on what we could do next," Matthew said. "It's a little crazy, but I think it might just work." Arethius wanted to know what he had in mind. "We need to find out one of the Hellions' bases and get information on what they're planning and where they're holding those hostages, without them knowing about it. Which means you'll need to get yourself some information, and a disguise." Arethius wanted to know if he had an idea where to get both. "I just might. We're getting reports about Hellions loitering around one of the tunnels nearby. An eyewitness said that it looked like they might be guarding a possible supply cache. If you take down Hellion informants, you can find out where their cache is. After that, you can disguise yourself as the informant to get in there and find some information. If we go incognito, we might be able to catch them off guard. And by we, I mean you. Sorry." Arethius was able to find one of the Hellion informants and took him down. This gave him a chance to get the disguise he was looking for and the location of the Hellion warehouse. Once he was disguised, he entered the warehouse. Hopefully he'd be able to sneak past the Hellions without causing too much concern. Inside the Hellion warehouse, Arethius found a box. He sifted through the various items belonging to the Hellions and found documents detailing something called the Ritual of Souls. There were details here on where the ritual would be taking place, that it required 4 pure souls, and that it would summon a powerful demon to cause chaos and destruction in Atlas. It was also mentioned that an outside source gave the Hellions the components to perform the ritual. Arethius called Matthew again to fill him in on what happened. "Great work, Arethius. You found information about something called the Ritual of Souls? That doesn't sound good at all. But at least we know where they're going to be performing this ritual. What worries me is who exactly gave this ritual to the Hellions. We can worry about that later, however. We have some more pressing matters to deal with." Matthew continued on. "There's no time to lose, Arethius. We know where the Hellions are preparing this Ritual of Souls. You need to get in there and put a stop to them once and for all. The most important thing is to stop that ritual and rescue the citizens who were kidnapped. There's one other thing I'd like you to look into." Arethius asked him what it was. "I'd like you to see if you can find out who gave them the ritual. If someone's supplying the Hellions with something this dangerous, who knows who else they could be helping. That's all assuming you can stop the ritual. If not, well, we'll have bigger problems on our hands than who is giving these guys rituals." When he got to the building, Arethius immediately noticed the smell, smoke, and some sort of magic was at work. The Hellions looked clearly busy, so he got to work in taking down some of the Hellions. As he made his way through the burning building, he came across the Hellion known as Cinderburn, who said, "You should all feel honored. You will open the gateway to the other world. Your sacrifices will pave the way for our new world." There were several hostages there. Arethius wasted no time and launched an attack on Cinderburn. He had to take him down quickly, or these poor hostages would be sacrificed in this ritual. "I will not be stopped. Not when I've come this far," Cinderburn exclaimed. After Arethius took him down, there was a computer nearby, and you could hear a voice through it. "Hello? Can anyone hear this? Hello? Please, someone?" Arethius checked the computer. "Is anyone there? Please, I don't have much time. They're going to find me at any moment. I'm here with other survivors. Please, someone needs to hear this." Arethius responded, trying to find out who it was. "Arethius, oh, it's so good to hear someone else. My name is Dana Habashy." Arethius was floored. Dana Habashy? Matthew's wife? "Matthew? He's safe? He got out of Galaxy City," Dana said. Arethius confirmed that he is, and got him on the communicator. "Matthew, is it really you?" "Dana, you're alive? You're alive?" "Matthew, I don't have much time to talk," Dana said. "I'm being held prisoner by Arachnos." "What? Where?" Matthew wanted to know. We're coming to get you." Dana replied, "You and Arethius need to hear this. Arachnos has captured survivors of Galaxy City, and they're funding gangs in Atlas Park to destabilize it. They're the ones who helped the Hellions. You need to stop them, or else—" Some loud banging was heard nearby. "Matthew, There she is. Take her back in," a voice said. Matthew replied, "Dana, we're going to find you, I promise." Arethius decided to call Matthew after the ordeal inside the building. "Well, we saved the day, Arethius," Matthew said. "Those people you saved will be safe, and the Hellions' plan is stopped. I just wish that there was some answer from my wife, that we knew where she was. If only I was able to go back and find her, none of this would have happened in the first place. She'd be safe." Arethius replied to him, "Your wife's alive, Matthew. It's not too late to save her." "You're right," Matthew said. "I still have a chance. Not everyone can say that, right? But we also need to make sure Atlas is safe. I'll work on my end to see what I can find regarding Arachnos, what they're doing, what they're planning, and where they're holding my wife and the other prisoners. I know some people who could use your help right now. They're fighting the good fight in Atlas, but they're losing." Arethius assured him he would do what he could to help, and not to worry. Well, what a fascinating turn of events in that story, wouldn't you say? Matthew thought his wife was dead, and then finding out that she's very much still alive. The question now is, will Matthew find her? Well, that's a story for another day. And I hope you'll join me for that story, won't you?